everybody, and welcome back to another in the series of Vegans Across the World. Today, I am so thrilled that we have Ahmad Safi with us. Is that your last name, Safi?
Yeah, Safi, Ahmed.
Yes, okay.
My surname is Safi. My first name is Ahmed.
Okay. I said
So you
it, I
can.
said your first name wrong, so I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry
okay.
I
It's
pronounced that
okay.
wrong.
It's okay. It's okay.
So anyway, he's coming to us from Ramallah, Palestine. And I am so super thrilled about this because I have been trying for months to get in contact with somebody in Palestine. So thank you for being here. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go to. When I do that, I am going to go off my screen. So just go ahead and let me know if. Hold on a second. Share screen, and I want to go to a Chrome tab. There we go. I'm going to go to the Google Maps. I'm going to show where you are, and let me know if you see it on there. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay,
do.
great. So there is your red dot in the world. We're going to zoom in on that in Ramallah. And this doesn't center for me for some reason. I'll pull that down. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go ahead and give people some information about Palestine. So Palestine shares the Dead Sea with Jordan, which is the Earth's lowest natural elevation point. Now, I have a question about that. I have been to Jordan and I have been to the Dead Sea. Is the West Bank called the West Bank because it's on the west bank of the Dead Sea?
Because it is the west bank of Jordanian River.
Okay, the Jordan River, and I've been to the Jordan River. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, I was allowed to touch the Jordan River, but the gentleman told me don't dare go in there because there was a man with a gun at the other side, directly on the other side,
Yeah, of
and it
course.
was yeah, it was kind of scary. He was behind a fence, and they were like, "You do not want to put your foot in that river."
Mm.
So, but I did have the opportunity to go there. But that's the Earth's lowest natural elevation point. So olive trees are extremely important there. You have almost half of all the cultivated land across the West Bank and Gaza is planted with an estimated 10 million olive trees, with the oldest olive tree said to be 4,000 years old. The majority of the population is Muslim, but they also have a large Christian population. Now, Ahmed, if I say anything wrong in this, you correct me, please. Okay?
No. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Christmas is celebrated 3 times per year. December 25th per the Western tradition, and January 6th per Greek Orthodox tradition, and then January 18th per Armenian tradition. Is that true?
January 7th.
You do it
Yeah,
January
yeah, yeah.
7th,
No, no, the night of January 7th. So yeah, January 8th.
January
Yes.
8th. Okay. Well, their dates were off here, but
Hmm.
you never know with the internet. So. Palestine is known for some of the most beautiful wildflowers in the world, including irises, jonquils, and wild poppies. They have the Church of Nativity, which is considered the birthplace of Jesus Christ, and it is also one of the world's oldest churches. They have several species of large wild animals, including foxes, mountain gazelles, the Nubian ibex, wild boar, wolves, jackals, leopards, hyenas, and several types of migratory birds. I didn't know that. That's amazing. And you have a population estimated at about 5.2 million as of the last census. They estimated that for this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, the 5 million who are inside Palestine, and we have about 12 million who are immigrant and refugees in all around the world.
Yeah. So anyway, when I have to say I left out all the political stuff for these facts, but there when you look up facts for Palestine, it's most of it's political. So maybe we'll get into some of that um, during our discussion, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, back to us. I want to go ahead and get into it. I want you to go ahead and give us a little bit of information about yourself? For example, what do you do and what kind of activism are you involved in?
Uh, I established an animal rights organization, and I don't want to call it an animal right because we don't belong to any of the terms right or welfare or protection. And uh, we have we have some philosophy behind that, that we don't want to belong to these terms because we don't want to be isolated in the definition,
Sure.
because wherever we are able to offer the help or to do any activities, we will do it.
And what is the
uh,
name of the organization?
Palestinian Animal League.
That's
Uh-huh.
right. And I think most people are know of PAL.
Uh-huh.
Um, that's another reason I'm so thrilled
Uh-huh.
because of the work that you guys do. So go ahead and give us a little bit more information about that. When did you start that?
Yeah, we did start it since we see that the new generation are still acting the same way that we have been acting, and they are still facing the same depression and the same stress that we have it from the political situation. There is a circle of violence which not will be end in somehow, and this circle of violence, the last chain of this circle, which will be those beings who were not able to defend themselves, which is the animal. And we start thinking that how we can change the attitude by changing and moving from negative impact of the situation we are living here to a positive impact. That why we need to hurt the animal, why we need, while we are the people who are suffering from occupation, from uh, economical situation, from the lack of resources, from all of this kind of community which has influenced the kids. And then we start that we need to start plant the seeds of accept the other beings to be a part of this. And that's what we always say, that we don't want to return back to the politics, but it is always, even it is like a salt, wherever you have a meal, you need it. So uh, the other thing, which is one of the basics, that the Palestine could not be Palestine without the other beings who are living in this land. Olive trees, the birds, the donkeys, the dogs in the street, the cats in the roofs or around. So we are not the only living being who are like the ingredients of Palestine contain more than us. Or we can make Palestine in Argentina, for example, or in USA.
I like that point of view.
Uh,
So,
so
what year
uh,
did you start the Palestinian Animal League?
when
Yeah, what year was it?
it was 2011.
2011. Been around for a while. Um,
Yeah, 10 years, 10 years of
yeah,
achievement. And
yeah. You guys have achieved a lot. I've, I am a fan, and I am a supporter of Free Palestine myself. So that's another reason I'm so thrilled to have you here. But I also was, I remember some years back seeing about like the first animal shelter there, and I was a big supporter of that as well. Is that animal shelter still around? Do you know?
what is the good things, that in the beginning uh, we were the first one. but now there is many small groups and many like places that can host animal. But the idea of having a shelter is not working here. Maybe we need a shelter for sick animals or handicap animals or the animal under which face some operation and they cannot be able to return back to the nature,
Yeah.
because we need like entrance and exit. And the idea for me, the idea of the shelter is not that idea that it could be implemented, like who give us the right to put them in the shelters. We were since 1948 we have been like in a places called shelter, which is a refugees camp.
Yeah.
So why we are doing like the idea to have a shelter is, for me is not acceptable. But
So you
what
think
we
it'd be
need,
best for rehabilitation, but not
yeah,
necessarily. Yeah.
yes, but not to stay for a long time. And like we don't need to keep the animal away from the streets, but we need to protect them. We need
Yeah. That's all right.
to work in a way to protect the animal uh, in in a good way. But we don't need to isolate them in different environment.
You're doing it. You're trying to protect them through education, obviously.
The most important, education, awareness campaigns, and also to treat the sick animal.
So let me ask you, where are you originally from? Are you from Ramallah?
No, originally I am from a village called Betnabela. It is close to the Lid airport,
Okay.
and my grandparents have been evacuated by forest from uh, during Nakba, and we moved to a refugees camp called Jalazon, and we are living now in a refugees camp, which is about 7 minutes away from Ramallah.
Wow. Because I was going to ask you what the culture and the food is like where you're at. Um, I'm sure it doesn't differ so much
Well,
from
look,
area to area there.
yeah, no, it is different, but now uh, I don't want to be like to talk about trends, but unfortunately, that globalization bring for us KFC, they bring for us industrial farming, they bring for us this bad uh, impact that the people are deal with now. They bring for us like this industrial meat. So we are moving, like we are following this kind of bad influence of globalization. We would like to see each other in all the places of the world, but we don't want to be to be a consumer. And now we are changing to be a consumer. There is many reasons for that. One of them, the land confiscation here. Second of them is the easiest way, and the greedy culture of like the greedy culture that we need to consume more, and this is the way that the Western world are living, and like this. Uh, so this is one of the struggles that we have. It we need to protect our. Uh, it is a culture, you know. The diet is a culture. The
It's interesting that you say that because there's so many people fighting the vegan movement right now, um, protesting that veganism is colonization, or colonialism, they're bringing in it's white influence is what they say veganism is. Whereas when I talk to people in more remote areas around the world, I find that they all say, "No, what you're bringing us is industrialized meat, industrial fast food. Um, that's what that's what the Western world is bringing us. It's not bringing us veganism, because a lot of people around the world actually, vegetables was a
no,
big part of their
look,
staples.
look. One of the important things I have. I you can claim that I am racist, but I am not, or anyone who are watching us about racism. But I feel that the white or the Europe or the civilized world brought for us all of the bullshit that we can imagine.
But it doesn't
And
have, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to do with veganism, is what I'm trying to
and
say.
no, 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 no. Look, the it is not an idea that it is not an idea came. First of all, one of the important things that we need to understand as for the audience now, the the new world where you are or where many people are now in the north, they invent the terms only because they have the power to call it a terms, and then they have the power to start to spread it because that is their idea. And this is like the theory of the one who are winning, the one who of the superiority, that I can tell you that this is the term, and this is the way that you should act. And if you are not acting on the conditions to be belong to this term, so you are not, and this is not true, and this is superiority. And who give you the right to give the conditions to be inside this term or no? For example, veganism, the diet before 1948, it was the best diet I can feel that the Palestinian have been doing. They were depending on the seeds and the seasonal seeds, vegetables, and occasionally they were eating some meat, which is that they are raising it in the farms, or and the dietary cheese that they made it inside the house, or eggs from the chicken. And for me, it was not industrialized, and it was like only based on the needs, and it is not greedy in the way that we are living now. But now, when we have the idea, and the people were like, when we have the idea of veganism, then start veganism, then they start putting the condition how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, this condition fit in your world because now it was industrial, because you start thinking how to raise the resources because you need to consume more. And this is the only. There's big companies. They want the people to consume more, and they start building all of these factories to keep them, and it is bringing good profits for them. And now, look, after this happened, now we are creating something against it, but we are losing a lot of the people around. There is like the bad influence of the vegan people around the world is one of the things that it's pushed people to not be vegan also. And the way of their living and the way of their attitudes toward non-vegan or toward other natural or like what we can call that organic groups of people who are living on before. Now I am coming to you with a new idea that you need to stop all of this, while it is not. For example, I will tell you, I have, like we have here in Palestine, a big issues with the ways that the vegan community or animal rights community or animal welfare community, not all of them, but there's those communities or activists who are calling for this movement. Because in the beginning, it start that they think that those are like the one who are like the revoluters, those are like the people who are the black sheeps who want to change all of the things. While here in Palestine, it was the something that where all of the people were living, and the things have been changing gradually. The second thing is that they have the right to judge and to exclude people from these terms of human, like if you are not a human or you are a human, or to calling, like to categorize, they give themselves the authority to categorize others based on the terms that they invent. So the idea here, and one of the things that we are that we need to listen it to very deep in our, not in our ears but in our brains. Where does this come from, and why it come from, and if it is like Western, or if it is like the organic, or the what you called it, like the indigenous people in the areas
Yeah.
where they were living.
Yeah.
They were living with harmony, very, very, very beautiful harmony with the natures. But who destroyed this harmony? And who were like bringing like different lifestyle. It is a civilization that we called it a civilization. And now the people, there is inside this civilized movement, like they say, like the civilized movement, that they need to change the indigenous people in all around the world, to turn them to be like more ethical, or more cute, or more understandable. There is inside it the animal right movement, which can come, for example, to Palestine and said what is right and what is wrong, while they are under in their offices or in their houses in Paris, for example, or in London, or in New York. But they don't have the right to do this. You need to survive in other conditions, and you need to look to your responsibility. Your responsibility first, based on you, about you and about your community, and about the people who change the things inside community. If we need to fight first, we don't need to change and return people to be vegan, but we need to stop the greedy and the capitalism, which is now invading all of the world and occupying and change us, all of us, similar to each other. And
So
also,
so
yes,
tell
please.
me, if you're saying that we don't need to go in and change the ideas of indigenous peoples, um, if they're using and consuming animals, what is it that the Palestinian Animal League is fighting for then?
The things that we are fighting for, to accept the other beings, to accept the beings as they are beings, to be in the way that we have been living
But aren't you going in to
natural.
try and change attitudes with people, about animals?
Yeah, we have the right in Palestine. The Palestinians have the right to do this. But, for example, I don't have the right to come to uh, to Marsilia, for example, or Genoa, to tell the people to act in this way.
On behalf of the animals, you don't believe so?
No, even in behalf of the animal, or in behalf of the activities around the world, because it's not something common. Here in Palestine, for example, I have these questions. For example, when you want to liberate the animals, you have been in Palestine and you know that there is there is other place. There is the mountain areas where is the olive trees. The people cannot dig the ground without the animal. Okay, and the machine cannot go inside these areas, and we need to protect this area. So what is the solution that we have to do here there in this
Okay,
situation?
so but I find it funny because most of the times when people argue that you can't go in and argue with indigenous peoples or something like that about whether they should change their culture. And we all know that eating animals is based on taste and culture and all those simple things really when it comes down to it. But they say that and then and but for the most part the vegan movement is not doing that. You
But
know,
what? Okay.
the
Wait,
vegan movement isn't going in, and what we're doing is on a global scale being in we're being in solidarity with everybody to pass on the message that we need to change our cultures and our traditions and our attitudes about other animals.
well, if this is if look, now we need to think in this way. Those people and this vegan community invent and ethical approach to deal with the animal, okay? And they give themselves to say that this is the ethical approach. And now they want to spread it. They are not prophets, but they want to spread it. They give them the right that they want to spread it, their ethics. This is their right, okay? But this is their right in their community. This is an ethical progress. But if you look to it, the compassion, the idea of compassion itself, it's come from superiority. That why I give myself the right to feel compassion with the less who are less under
Yeah.
me.
I don't
So
I'll be honest with you. I tell people that my veganism has nothing to do with compassion. It has to
I,
do with justice. It
I,
has to do with justice.
yeah, I know, and look, I am now maybe our dialogue turn philosophically more than it is practical about the way that we are doing. But the idea is about you invent an ethical way as a person. We will not talk about white or black or Asian or something. But there is some common, let's say, there is some common issues that the animal face in this planet. And this common problem that the animal faces in planet, where is the main source of it? Where it's come from? Those big ship, like this, like join huge big ship are traveling in the sea and like taking the fish in the sea. We don't have it in Palestine. And the people in
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur, they don't have it. The people in Ethiopia, they don't have it. In Sudan, they don't have it. Who have it? The big companies in between France and between Inglaterra, in the oceans and in Asia, China, and these big countries. This is where that we deal it. We need to fight those people. And then
So
the
do
big
you think
country.
that we need to just fight the big companies and not work on it individuals?
Allah, no, no. This is the individuals. It help us to do lobbying, to bring more people. But the lobbying, it doesn't come from teaching them the ethics. The way is most important. Because why now? I will tell you. Uh, uh, in UK, I think that's it have been the age of animal welfare. Let's say animal welfare movement about 100 years, and I don't know the age of veganism since when it started and this idea started.
Well,
But
I
if
mean,
you,
as you said earlier, it's
yeah,
veganism actually was around before the vegan
yes,
society.
oh,
So
okay. Well, if we can look to the map of consumption
sure.
seriously, and I have been like searching about this, like the biggest consumption, where is the biggest, the more, like where is the largest number of animal right or animal welfare movement around the world, that is the biggest consumers of animal based on the GDP. UK, France, Australia, USA, Israel, where you can find that Israel is the empires of the vegan movement or something, while they are
Yeah,
like number three in the world who are consuming animal. This is not based on the GDP. So this is like,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
yeah,
But I've talked to people, and that's the whole reason for the series, and the whole reason that I try to get the more remote areas or the harder to reach places is to show that it is possible for people to be vegan where they are. Um, people in Mongolia, people in Ghana. These are places that they barely get internet, or some of them. I've talked to people where only one quarter of the population even has electricity, and they're still doing it. They're still giving. They're going out doing the animal rights message and the vegan message and in their communities. And that's why I wanted to do this series, to show that it is possible where you're at, and that people are doing it in these places. It's
well,
not just
mm,
PETA. It's not just the big international, um, you know, organizations that are doing this. There are people doing this on a grassroots. level, like yourself. You started Palestinian Animal League. Um, can you
Yeah, but
tell me
uh,
when you started Palestinian Animal League, what was the reason? What behind you doing so?
yeah,
I mean, what was your drive?
I was telling you that we need to break the circle of violence. We were not like doing these things in the beginning for the
Yeah,
animal. We were doing this for the animal and the kids in Palestine.
yeah.
We were thinking that we need to help them to deal with the situation, to show sympathy and to look after and to care about others, which give them the feeling that they are important for their society. This is one of the things that is important for us.
See, I think that's an important message about veganism in itself. Is that's really the root of our cancer.
But you know,
It is the way.
I didn't learn about veganism until 19 until until after 3 years of establishing Bell.
Yeah.
Then I start understanding the difference between vegan or what is the other things? I even forget.
Vegetarian. I don't know.
Vegetarian,
Yeah.
and I start knowing about uh, uh, welfare and right and
Yeah.
all of this terms. But the the idea that this, like, if we go to the idea itself and why we are doing this, and if there is a hope that we can, if we can reduce or decrease or increase whatever terms after that it comes. I'm sure that the idea itself is brilliant, you know. The idea itself is important, and but the approach sometimes like making this idea fall down. Second things, who are delivering this approach and who are delivering and messaging for this approach, uh, it is important. The other things which is also important, that it will not, the worst thing when the revolution become globalized, you know, the revolutions of anything, it must not be globalized, it must touch the earth and the ground of the area where its movement, where this movement is. When we are talking about globalize the revolution or veganism or vegetarian or animal welfare, then we will go to the area who will, which idea, and we know, me and you, very clear, and we know how much issues inside this movement itself, and how much this movement are even. In the beginning, I was shocked. I thought that this is the most peaceful area that you can join it, but then I found that it is the same as the politician.
Yeah.
N- n-
Yeah.
at all, يعني, it's completely. So, so if we need to think very clear, we need to think about the way, the approach, and the movement. It is not because I was new in this field, and I was disappointed totally from the organizations, from the grassroots organization in Europe or in USA or in another places, and I was also disappointed from the activists themselves, many activists themselves. Like, I don't want to generalize, but disappointed from the way that they are thinking, from the dictatorship of the way that they are dealing with other thoughts and with other ideas. And it's the same, like, but I had the idea that how a white man in Marines will save the planets, the plan that will save the Earth from, for example, aliens. Yeah, the same thing are happened with the vegan society and animal right movement. There is a one who are want to save the animals from the human and in his own way, and this is like internally we need to take off We really need to take off our our I don't know what we call the then our not the brain the things our we need to take off the ingredients of the narratives of inside our brain, the thoughts that we build our personal on it, and then come to this area naked without any bad impacts from where we are. يعني you are not Christopher Columbus, and he's not Christopher Columbus. He want to invent or discover a new land or discover new issues to fight about it, and this is what happened.
Okay. Well, I have to be honest with you.
Yes,
The
please.
conversation was never really meant to go into, like, the politics of animal rights organizations. Um, it's cool that it did. It was interesting to hear your perspective on that. I am totally for grassroots and local people doing their thing, and that's what I want to highlight on this. We could keep going in. I'm disappointed. There's a lot of organizations I'm disappointed with, quite honestly. This could be a conversation about how the animal rights movement needs to change, but that wasn't really the point of the interview. So,
No, it's okay. Go back to the questions that you needed.
well, I mean, this could be the whole interview if we continue on this. And I could agree with you on some things, and I might disagree with you on others, but I get your gist. There is some work that needs to be done as far as how we go about what we do. I'm just happy that people like yourself locally are doing their thing because you know how to reach out to people in your area better than anybody else. So that is the whole point of having locals and grassroots people and stuff like that. And I tend not to be too involved with the bigger organizations because I too get it. I get disappointed. There's a lot of politics involved. When anything organized becomes corrupt is my saying.
Ah, so
And
you are anarchist.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I wouldn't say that. But I do want to get to know you better, and I want to get to know the area better. Okay, so
Yes.
so why don't you tell us how long have you been vegan?
Uh, since 2014,
Okay,
then I have like uh, like some areas, some flesh during this journey that I cut it and I return back, and
so you've
I
had
don't
some
know.
fallbacks.
Yes,
Yes, you've
yeah,
had some
yeah.
fallbacks, and you came back. But what is it that made you want to go vegan? Is it the same reason you started the Palestinian Animal League? Is it because you saw that we need to see that this is really the root of our cancer is where we how we treat lesser beings?
This is big questions. This is
Okay.
very great question, and
Good. I'm glad you like the question.
one of the things after I go back from after I start learning about veganism, I go to a slaughterhouse in Ramallah, and I start seeing the things in different way. It was for me normal to do. Then I start thinking, like analyzing the things very deep. Think about all of this stuff, and I think it was I feel that it's very greedy that what we are doing to this planet. It's not about something like ethical or like we are destroying a lot of things that we need to keep it, you know. We are not respecting the other lives. And, you know, like to respect and accept and feel that those things are not belong to you. The idea why we are taking all of these things because we think that it is belong or it was created because of us.
Yeah.
This is very egotistic, you know. Very.
It's a superiority complex of it's
Yes,
narcissism.
yes, it is egotistic that all of the other creatures are created for the humans.
Yeah.
Imagine like how much we are stupid to think this. And when we find that one day that all of these creatures disappeared, then we find that we will not survive one
Yeah,
day.
we're gonna be doomed ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is
It's almost
this
like the human race is on a self-destructive. Um, um,
because it is
they're trying to destroy themselves. Is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
They're
it
on
is
path. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
think of.
it is egotistic. Like I have been since when, like during the old age when the people were eating the meat, they were eating it because they were hungry and because they were unable to find anything, and because there's many reasons for that.
Sure, it was very different in the past. And
Yeah,
that's why when we get these, the arguments of like, well, we've always done it this way. Well, but is it necessary now? I mean, sometimes it was necessary for people to do it that way, and they weren't doing it on an industrial scale, like
but
you
I mean,
said.
I am really
You know,
amazed. I am still really amazed why there is the biggest movement in Tel Aviv for the vegans people, and is still like the biggest consumer
yeah, yeah, I have
in
read that.
in
I have read
inside
that they say that Israel is like the biggest vegan population, but yet they are the biggest consumers of
the biggest
their and
consumer of.
rising. It's rising.
Yes, yes, and it is rising more and more, and
Yeah. So
so and
But how? All right. So you kind of told us what made you want to. You went to that slaughterhouse and you started to make. You started to have the epiphany of like, what are we doing? Um, the egocentric idea that they're made for us.
how much we have time for this interview?
As much time as you need. Do you need
No, no,
to?
no. Because I have to finish other stuff. If we can,
Sure, sure.
yeah.
Well, we'll move on our questions. How's that? We got kind of deep into politics. We'll move on to the rest of it, okay? So, are any of your family or friends vegan? And what do they, if they are, or if they are not, what do they think of your veganism?
Look, here the idea that it is not manly to eat meat. You know, manly,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
men eat meat, and you need to be strong and blah 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 blah.
sure. A
Okay,
lot
I
of
don't.
cultures are like that. Yeah,
And this is like this culture is recently because before they were depending on a salad dish and a piece of onion and
yeah.
bread and khalas. This is the main, or like a dish of lentils, like this, like and this become like uh,
So, are any of your friends or family vegan? I mean, I'm sure
m-
you have tons of vegan friends because
yeah,
you've been out for a while.
my father is vegetarian.
Okay.
One of my daughters are vegetarian, and there is a lot of friends, but it is like the community of people sometimes, to be honest, like I like the people who change slowly, not who change based on, there is a new trend that I want to use it,
Oh, you want them to
that.
know. You want them to understand the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, justice is a trend now, for example, and I don't want to go on this, like, because it is a trend, like other trends that's happening, like do a challenge for something.
Yeah,
So
sometimes if
yeah,
people go into it too quickly and they don't understand the reasons, the real reasons to do it, then they just fall off. They think it's a diet. So I understand what you mean. But would you say it's easy or hard to be vegan where you live? You kind of told us it's kind of hard to be vegan where you live
First of all,
for the okay.
first of all, I will tell you, this is one of the things that I hated. Once I have been in a conference, and really they bring like chicken wings, you know, but it is vegan wings, like it's the same of the shape chickens, like vegan hamburger, or now they are making vegan eggs, or why we need always to taste the meat. Why we need this piece of hamburger to look
Yeah.
like the meat? Why
Well,
we
I
need?
think because they're trying to appeal to people who say they can't give up meat. I
But
think
this
that's
is,
what they're trying to do.
yeah, I
They're
know,
trying to
but
show them that they can.
yeah, but this is like this is still if I didn't create for you the
Well, because people are lazy and they want their creature comforts, and and if
but I will find for you another choice. Then after I find for you another choice, then you will change. So it's you are not convinced because I'm finding for you another choice.
I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally.
And this is not something based on the ethics. I don't need in the laboratory to make a meat. This kind
I
of
agree with you.
laboratory meat. I don't want the shape of the chicken wings to be because I don't want the hamburger to taste exactly like the meat. When I put in this some lentils called lentils, and drink it, and that's all. Lentil soup, and it's full of everything. I can buy some nuts from the place here, which is 1 ounce, for example, 250 gram with 8 shekel or 10 shekel.
So basically, what you're saying is it's actually easy to be vegan where you are. It's the
If you will find,
attitudes. It's the
yeah, we do,
attitudes.
it is the most important is if you want to see it easy.
Sure.
Right? We don't need soya, we don't need other stuff, we don't need it.
But are those available where you're at? Are those available
Yeah, yeah, there
meat
is
alternatives?
available. There is soya milk, there is
I do have
cheese,
that.
there is. But to be honest, I like seitan. This is like the
I
gluten.
love
Uh,
seitan, but it's just wheat. It's just wheat and
yeah,
spices is all
yeah,
it
I
is.
like it. Yeah, I like
It's
it.
a texture thing. So I like it too. So you have seitan there. You
No,
have
we don't have it.
oh, but you make it. Do you make
No, I
it?
don't know how to make it.
Oh, it's so easy. It's just water and flour and wheat flour.
It's need some time, so
I'll send you a recipe. I will send you an easy recipe. Okay.
inshallah, inshallah.
Okay. So, but all right, I'm not going to even ask you what are the struggles. You pretty much have told us what your struggles are, and you need to move along. You need to go on and do your thing today. So I'll go ahead and move along. But how do people view animal rights where you live? Like when you started the Palestinian Animal League, how do people take that? How do people view what your message is?
In the beginning, they find that it is fantasy, but now it is not. Really, the people deal with it. And now we have an ambulance for the animals, which is the first ambulance to rescue animals. And the people
You
were at the
do.
beginning. Yes, we
You
do
have
an
an
ambulance
ambulance for
that we are.
animals.
Yes, yes. And we rescue animals from places to other around the West Bank. It is the only one and the first one in the area that
Yeah,
we do. We do work
that's
with
amazing.
this. Yes. And sometime when we talk how many ambulance, for example, in one place for a human, you would find 100 of them. But this is the only one for animal, and now you find that it is something fantasy. This is wallah haram. This is wallah sin that you think even in this way.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah,
So, what's your favorite? What would you say is your favorite form of activism?
the form of activist.
Would you say it's education? You like to educate people.
No, I want the people, the education itself. No, but I want the people who do the mistake once, second, three, four, five, six, 7 times better than the people who learn it in the school. Those people who have been in these places where doing the stuff. Those are the best people who are can deliver the message in the right way. Education is very important, but we don't need to prevent this from the market, that the people need to think that they don't want it. Education is important, but how much the education will help, then we can spread the word. But there is two way. First of all, either you uh, treat the symptoms of the disease or treat the disease itself.
Cut out the cancer or put a band-aid on it. That's what I
Yes.
say.
The disease itself is a human.
I agree with that. I have to
Not,
agree with that.
yeah,
I'm a bit of a misanthrope, so
yes. And exactly the smart human, those smart people. Like they know how to be smart, and they are very proud and very egotistic that they are smart. Those are. And sometimes, and sometimes I feel that this kind of movement, this kind of changing the behavior, it's very slow, and I accepted that it is very slow. In the beginning, I was thinking, now we need to change the things, and that. But education is very important, and sometimes there is some risk we need to take it. One of the things that I was attending some conference where the people think that it is the most risk things to be an animal rights activist. Like they are doing risk movement and they are doing some risk things and like they are. And I was like, come to see the real risk where you can either survive or no. Here is like when the people know that you are an animal rights activist, they will say, oh, you are very peaceful, you are like so cute, you are like very calm and this person. So don't claim that you are doing an activism if you are not changing. This is like a duty. You don't need to put vegan here, like tattoo vegan or vegan here, or like to show that people that the food. Who care about what you eat? First, care how much you change on the ground. Care how much you do the stuff and to protect the earth. You don't need to be like there is a typical faces, like a typical structure for the people who are vegan or animal rights activists. And really, this typical way, I don't feel that it help as much as like it's like it is not like a coffee or it's not like a communist flag or something, but there is something that they show how much they are like their attitude, their attitude, how much. Anyway, it is not our case, but no, the most important things is learning and learning and learning and do some risk against real risk. It is not a call for anything bad, but like there is some risks that people need to do it.
do you think it's riskier in the area that you live in, being in occupied
It
territory?
is but the most peaceful.
Is it to be work for the animals? That would be the opposite, I think, of what a lot of people would or expect.
Yeah, no, no, this is the
That's
most
surprising to
peaceful.
hear. Well, that's great. I'm glad because you don't need any more problems, do you?
Uh,
So, if a vegan visits where you live, where should they go? It doesn't have to be a restaurant, but I think that you do have a vegan restaurant there in Palestine, right?
Before we do have, but there is now but it closed because the idea was not like enough spread that the people are convinced about it.
So, where do you think people should go as vegans visiting
In in in
Palestine? Who
in
should they
in,
get
ma-
involved with?
in many places doesn't have uh, a Western names.
Okay, but how would they get involved in the local vegan community there?
What in Palestine?
Yes, in Palestine.
They can please if you can put the contact. But first of all, if you they want to be. involve in our community, they should respect our community. They should not come to us with their own ideas and put some more implements on it. If I send you the things that the way that we are dealing with the things, I don't like some terms. I don't want them to help. They can come and involve or support, but they have to do it under the restriction of this society, to accept, to respect the societies, to respect how the people are doing, not in the way that the people will push us to the wall and start saying that no and no.
Well, if they
They,
wanted to come and just like get to know other vegans and help you out with whatever
yes,
you're
yes,
doing.
of course, they are contact us and they can come anytime. Yeah,
So the
welcome, welcome.
Palestinian, I'll leave any links that you let me that you give me. I'm going to leave any links under the video for people to get involved or support you, or if they want to get in
The
contact with you.
the website of Bell or the Facebook page of Bell, the Instagram, you can put them.
Okay, I'll put any links. We'll include those. So,
Yes,
what's your favorite local vegan dish they should try if they come there?
there is the best one, the best,
The
the
best
best,
one.
the best one. Ah, there is so many best that you can eat. Uh, Broccoli and corn flour with tahini,
Tahini.
baked
Mm.
baked with tahini
Oh yeah.
and olive oil. In the beginning, you put it in olive oil in the oven, then you fix it with tahini and lemon and some salt and pepper with rice.
I make something similar to that.
There is
So,
mjaddara also. Jaddara. Ra-
jatara,
they, what is the English name of where we bring flour? Flour,
flour,
flour. The bread.
bread, injera bread,
What is the name? Come, what is the name of the planet where we bring the bread in it?
bakery. No, I'm not
The
sure. I
the
understand what you mean.
plant, the plant, the
Oh,
plant
the
of
plant, wheat,
wheat and lentils.
wheat and lentils. Yes. Okay, cracked
We
wheat and
called it
lentils.
mjaddara. We called it
Okay.
mjaddara
Yeah.
with salad.
Yeah. That's great. So, finally, I'm going to ask you, where would you like to visit one day and learn about veganism there? Have you traveled a lot?
I travel a lot.
Okay. Is there one place you haven't been to that you'd like to go and get involved with the
I would
vegan?
like to spend 6 months in Africa or in Amazon or in Africa, and I live with the people who look like us and who think very simple like us, and learn how to respect the nature better than any other thing.
That'd be great. I've interviewed about 6 countries in Africa, so maybe you'd like to check those out at your convenience. But
Inshallah.
I do have one surprise question before I let you go. Do you like pizza?
No.
You don't like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza?
Because it's have a lot of bread, and I don't like.
I like bread. Okay. Well,
I
you
like
are the first guest that does not like
I
pizza, so
I
I don't.
I I I like the pizza in Italy, but not in Palestine, and not in Pizza Hut, and not in the American way.
Okay, okay, that's fair enough. So
Okay.
my last question wouldn't really apply to you. The question would have been pineapple on pizza, yes or no. But you don't like pizza.
Well,
So,
I didn't taste it. I taste different kind. The vegetable pizza is beautiful. I like it,
okay.
but not the American or European way. The Italian way,
Sure.
exactly the Italian.
Or homemade. So, homemade is a
Homemade.
lot
Yeah.
better. It's thinner crust. Yeah, it's not as
Yeah.
thick. I don't like restaurant pizzas much myself, even when they're vegan. I prefer homemade, but anyway. So I know
Inshallah.
you're a very busy person. Okay?
No.
So I want to thank you so much for this
Okay.
conversation. It was very interesting. You're a very interesting person, and I'm thrilled to know you, to get a chance to get to know you a little bit and about your area. and be safe. Be safe there.
inshallah.
All right. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. You have a
Assalamu
great
alaikum.
day. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
All
Salam.
right. Salam alaikum. Bye. Wow. What an intense guest. And you know what? I should have expected, and I shouldn't have expected any less. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. It really, literally, months waiting to get in contact with somebody from PAL or Palestine, and I got both. So he's an intense guy. He has that could have been a totally different conversation. Wanted to kind of keep it on track. He is a busy man. Could have gone on forever if we really wanted to talk about the politics, but that's to be expected. Even when I looked up facts about Palestine, um, it's very hard to find any just facts about the area without it going into politics, and I think we all understand that. So guys, thanks so much again for all your support, for always being here. Everybody who always joins the live chats, I so appreciate it. And I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation. It was a little intense, and I'm happy with that. So I hope you are too. If you want to know, I know these have been not every Wednesday like they used to be. Things have been a little crazy with the holidays and my vacation. So, yeah, don't really know when I'm going to do this again. It could be next week. It might be 2 weeks. I don't know. Christmas is coming up. I'm going to be busy, but I haven't been online a lot, and I'm hoping to keep in touch with you guys. And if nothing else, see you in the new year. So if you want to know who I'm going to have next, you're just going to have to show up. Thanks for being here. Love you.